Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Quick Draw we've got our hands on one hot duo, the Silva and the Aegis. Aegis? 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 Ujiz? Ijiz? We all jizz, whatever. So, the Silva and the Aegis, I'm gonna stick to that one, have finally been unleashed ever since winning the community melee weapon submissions. Now, I'll be completely honest, I did not vote for it, I wasn't excited by it, and even when they showed off the animations, I didn't feel anything. But after getting some alone time with these two, I have grown quite fond. From the melee animations to the way the shield rests on your arm, it just feels like they did right by it. Now, let me preface this real quick. It's definitely not going to be the most powerful weapon in game, but as it stands entertainment-wise, I'll let you decide. So, you can pick up the duo's blueprints in the clan dojo, just be aware that it will cost you a form to craft. However, you can also pick it up pre-built along with the weapon slot and a catalyst for 150 plat. But if you want to go big, picking it up in the Mirage bundle will also get you its stance, 11th Storm. Alrighty, so the Silva and the Aegis' damage type is purely fire. Now this is definitely one of the otter-based damages. You can combine it with a little electricity for radiation, which is great versus alloy armored Grineer like napalms and bombards, as well as sinew-based infested. It also works well with toxin damage as it creates the gas elemental that is decent at taking down light infested. But beyond that, the elements that fire combine into tend to suffer versus a lot of resistances, so modding to take advantage of elemental weaknesses can be a little bit tricky. It's almost in your best interest, depending on the faction, to add in other combos and just use the base fire damage as separate splash damage. Okay, so while I enjoy the Silva and the Aegis, I have to be completely real about the mechanics here. The base damage is low and its only damage type is a hard element to combine. Its attack rate is average, its crit rate is very low, so its crit multiplier isn't really relevant. That leaves one thing, and everyone knows how fond I am of this one thing. It's got a nice status chance, but realistically it's not going to do much to save this weapon, especially since a lot of the damage status procs base their damage off of the weapon's base damage, which is far from impressive. Now I bet you're asking, why the hell did you say you like this weapon? Honestly, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure. A lot of it lies in its stance. Yet, unlike the Galatine stances that have some hefty damage multipliers, 11th Storm doesn't really add much to its mechanics. I know it's bad, but its combos are quite fun, slamming your shield into things and knocking them around, then hacking away at enemies and setting them on fire. While it's not super effective, it still feels kind of badass, and it looks badass too. The splitting of the shields, the flames. However, I do feel like the sword could have been a little bit longer. But then again, I am a bit of a size queen. Speaking of adult things I'm into, can we talk? Okay, so I'm fully aware that the Silva and the Aegis aren't necessarily the best weapons. I have no illusions of this duo being better than they are, and I know that when it comes down to business, I'll be ditching them for something more effective. But the fact is, I'm an adult, and I think it's perfectly fine to make poor decisions just as long as I know what I'm doing and I know the repercussions. It's kinda like having a one-night stand with both parties fully aware that your asses have work in the morning and realistically won't be getting married this weekend. Or reuniting with an ex with the complete awareness of the fact that shit wasn't right the first time around, so why the fuck would it be right the second time around? However, he wasn't bad in the sack, so why not play a bit, right? As long as you're realistic and not disillusioned with the situation, like the way some people are convinced status builds are optimal, it's okay to indulge in a guilty pleasure, because guilty pleasures are still pleasures. Now, if you haven't already unsubscribed due to my complete disdain of status builds, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, the Silva and the Aegis are far from top tier. It comes with no polarities, and its outstanding mechanic is a chance to proc status effects, and even that's slightly under par to the top status chance weapons. And to top it all off, it does require a forma if you're planning on crafting it. On the flip side, it has an awesome stance that makes it extremely fun to play, and is arguably one of the best looking melee weapons in game. So, while I do think that this duo looks real good on my arm, the Silva and the Aegis just don't have enough substance to take home to meet mama. Thank you all for watching another episode of the Quick Draw. If you haven't already caught it, be sure to take a look at my rundown on Mirage, as well as a quick draw on one of the dirtiest weapons I would put a ring on. Be sure to do the thing that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for my running list of weapons that I'd bump and dump here at A Gay Guy Plays. So the list of dirty weapons continues. First the Stug, then the Cat Dick and the Tentacle Gun, and now Saliva and Aegis. Well played, DE. Well played.